Hi guys, so welcome to our Bola movement fourth episode of our podcast sessions. So today also interesting topics, but before we start, I would like to introduce the people, the members of this wonderful movement. Actually, so we have Jude Dabare,
Hey Bieber, how
actually
are you?
hosting. Yeah, today it's his work, the whole thing. I mean, nice wallpaper, bro. Next we
Thank
have
you.
Umeshan with cool shades and the surprise woman in the background. I see
Hello,
you, bro.
guys.
Yeah, and we have Dinky P and Bandul Cat
Hey.
and Dr. Range.
Hey.
And with that wonderful 3D glasses and the best country's wallpaper, best country's flag as a wallpaper, we have Binura. Okay. So yeah, so hi guys, welcome. So remember to put your phones on silent, and also keep it ready if you have to Google anything, if there's any confusion about anything. Okay, uh, so there's this thing that is kind of controversial right now, and because we were talking about the vaccine, right? So during Umeshan's ceremony, when the festivities were going on in his room, so we were discussing something about the vaccine. So the vaccine has currently made its way into Sri Lanka. So I want to ask a question. This question has been discussed widely in the US. So I want to get your impression on how or what will happen in Sri Lanka, or even in Malaysia for that case. So you see now they've given the first dose to a lot of people, right? So they've covered a lot of people with the first dose. Now the thing is there's a shortage of vaccine. So do they cover as many people as possible with the first dose, or do they save the vaccine for the second dose? So there are a lot of things to efficacy and whatnot get involved. So what do you guys think? Should they cover as many people as possible with the first dose, or should they save the doses up because you want to give it 28 days later for the second dose? So let's start with Umeshan, because obviously the most experienced among us.
Thanks. At least you didn't say the oldest, but I guess that's what you meant. But I guess I would say save it up, especially because you're looking at a 28-day window, right? Because if, for example, you can source more vaccines in that time, it obviously has to be from the same company. So if that is difficult, then I would think you have to think in the long term and save those doses. At least you would have by now covered most of the frontline health workers and all of that, people who are at high risk, and you ensure that immunity is covered by doing the second dose, and then you order more for later for the rest. Obviously, for them it will be prolonged, but it's better than giving a half-assed vaccine and then missing that window and then having to re-vaccinate the people again. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and yeah, I would like to say that they say that after the first dose, you get about roughly around 52 to 75% immunity. So it's that up to that extent you can be immune to COVID, right? So if you get the two doses, then only you reach a 95%. Okay, so even keeping that in mind, so I mean, obviously it's out there. So Dinelka, Dinky P, what's your impression on this?
Mm, so could you like rephrase the question? I didn't understand it properly. So it's
No,
like
because yeah, for everyone again, I guess. So what happens is now you like there's only a certain amount of vaccine available, right? Because there's shortage in some countries. So what they can do is they can save it up because people have already got the first dose. They can save the doses. So after 28 days, they can get the second dose, right? Or if not, they can just roll it out and still, I mean, cover people who haven't got the vaccine yet. Right. So what happens is that there'll be a lot of people who have got the first dose, but not the second dose. But instead, if you save it up and give it, only few people will be actually vaccinated. A large population still won't even have a little bit of immunity. So the argument is, which one do they do? Do they roll it out to the entire population and try to cover as many as possible with the first dose, or save it up? So in Sri Lanka also it'll be the same thing, because we are going to get a shortage. We have only 500,000 doses in the first donation by India. So what do you think is better? Cover as many as possible with the first dose, or save the doses up for the second dose?
mm, I thought like in regards to Malaysia, how they are doing it is like almost one different brand is used for a phase of the vaccine, right? Isn't that approach better? So like
Uh,
starting with the elderly and chronic uh, people with chronic illness, you can give them like uh, no affiliations, but Pfizer for them, and then for the others, like so far the well approved ones, you can start with them, and the others that need more trial, you can give them towards the end. That's what I thought. So they don't have to hold back really. If they got 500,000 units from Pfizer or something, they can just give it all. Then whatever other brand they secured, they can give it to the other people. I don't know.
I mean, I guess there's a lot of thinking. I mean, rather there are a lot of schools of thought regarding this. I mean, actually, like in the US itself, they're like not sure which one will be better. So, Bindra, being the representative of Sri Lanka, what do you think?
I think the best option is still like the pannier, but if we
Okay,
can't get
okay.
that, then I think like Vivek said, targeted like risk groups should be given priority first, like the frontline workers and like the elderly probably.
For the
For more.
viewers who don't know what pannier is, it's called a magic potion. Okay.
And you can refer to our last podcast also.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ranjula. So Ranjula told us more about what happened, right? Because the initial rollout and some problems with that and all. So Ranjula is actually very connected to the medical society in Sri Lanka. So what is your impression, Dr. Range?
I mean, I'm not talking about Sri Lankan medical side. This is just I will talk about general. Bit. So, according to your question, I think it's better to like because the first dose is only 70% effective, right? 70 or
Yeah,
something, right?
roughly
The
50 to
second dose it
75%.
goes up to 90 something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think it's better to like just complete the 2 doses because then it will be more effective to the person which the vaccine has been given. So basically, they are giving it to the medical people and the special forces and some highly influential people, which might be, I mean, no comment on that. So I think it's better to like give the vaccine for the first defense, so our healthcare system is more stable rather than giving it to everybody. Because if our healthcare system is stable, then we can proceed with the rest of the people, right? So I think that's the good option rather than having 70% accuracy versus 90% accuracy.
So if they cover, to Ranjula again, I mean, this is one of the things that came up. Anyone can answer. It's not only for Ranjula, but even I felt like waiting for the second dose is better because you get 95%. So that is a chance that you won't get COVID, almost nil. Like 5% is negligible when you compare to the 70% or something, or 30% if you get only one dose. But what like you cover as many as possible, right? I mean, we give 2 doses to say like give them more protection. So doesn't it leave a larger population more vulnerable to this disease? But instead, if you gave everyone the first dose, they'll have a better chance. Even though it's 50%, let's say 70%, they have a 70% chance of not getting COVID. But if they don't get the vaccine at all, it's like there's like 100% chance they can get the disease. So I mean,
And we're also not
yeah.
taking into account that we might get another donation in a month's time.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think to add to Sandhu's point, most of the time I think they'll just go with all the doses possible for that vaccine because they're not sure which one they'll get next, and you can't really mix those 2 doses from different brands, right? Right now, a country like our country, we are just depending on donations, right?
yeah, it's going to be a long time before we actually buy something. So we are going to wait till they give it to us, and then maybe at the end they might buy some. So, Jude, apart from the pannier, what do you think we should do?
First, I want to consider how much effective is, let's say, if we can immunize or vaccinate a particular population, I want to see how effective the herd immunity is. So if so, we can give another dose to the population that we couldn't have reached rather than giving the second dose to the first population. So if we can do some research for the herd immunity itself, then we know that, okay, the first group of people, they can stay immune and they can help the others who are not immune. And then we can give a second dose to them, the first dose to them for the people who have been not immunized, and then later on give the second dose to the first batch of people. I feel like that can also happen, but then again, not proper or no concise evidence has been found for herd immunity for COVID. So I'm also pretty skeptical about that. Yeah.
The only problem with herd immunity working, bro, is it has to like at least 90 or above, 90% or above have to be vaccinated.
Yeah,
So
that's
maybe,
also another
yeah,
herd
and
we have to go through.
500,000 won't cut it. Yes.
Yeah, from a population of 21 million, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of too much, I guess. So in that case, I feel like maybe we have to, I guess, vaccinate the majority or the maximum amount of people that we can find. So we can then work out either herd immunity, or then later, once we have the sufficient funds, we can buy our own batch and then immunize the people who have been not immunized, and then re-immunize the people who have been immunized initially.
So what if if you like give the vaccine and the second dose we'll give it like after 6 months, will the effectiveness will be decreased, right?
Yeah, again, it depends on the manufacturer, right? So if the manufacturer claims that you have to give the second dose within this span of time, then we have to ensure that it is being given, or else it's no point, right? At that point, you'll be just wasting your money and resources.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's better to just do the things the correct way rather than like.
Yeah, true. But
And
then again,
yeah, another thing is that they say that even though you miss it, let's say instead of 4 weeks, you don't get it in 4 weeks. You instead get it after. So Aishan is also in our midst now. So I mean, I guess because Aishan just joined.
Vanakkam, Aiboan, Namaskar.
Yeah, Vanakkam, bro. So yeah, just
Bonjour.
because Aishan joined us again, to Aishan, this is a tricky question actually. So now see, Sri Lanka also got the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
So Sri Lanka got the vaccine, and it's like other countries also got vaccine. Now we got only 500,000 vaccines. Okay, so now do we go all out, vaccinate 500,000 people, or do we vaccinate 250,000 people and save the 250,000 to give it to them again? Because you need to give the second dose, right?
Bro, why the are you using vaccines, Macha?
So apart from Dhammikipani, yeah, Dhammikipani is still going strong. Even though some people got COVID after drinking it, we are still, believing in it. That's a different story. But
they just took the wrong dosing regime, bro.
Yeah, Machang. They didn't follow his, Kali Amma's proper regime. He had to follow. That's Amari.
Kali Amma so mad, bro.
Yeah, I'm so mad now. We have to follow perfectly. So, do you think they should just go out and vaccinate 500,000 people, or save it so they can vaccinate them again? Like, what's your thought on it?
There won't be no point, right? Like they are like vaccinate karne rada, like instead of vaccine, like the same person the second dose. That's better, right?
Yeah, so I mean,
there's two doses, right?
2 doses. So they can they can do is they can vaccinate 500,000 people at once, and they have to wait for the second dose. We don't know when we'll get the second dose.
Yeah.
But if we don't, we can save it. But only 250,000 people will get vaccinated.
Okay.
So I mean, there are there are advantages of both and stuff. But like commonly, like asking a common man, what do you think is like the best way? Just save it up, right? You feel like we have to save it up and then use it later.
Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, there's another thing they said that the booster is it's a booster they're giving, so they can give it even after, if you miss it after 28 days, you can still give it. So that's another thing that they say. And now that Sri Lanka has been allowed to manufacture the Sputnik 5 vaccine also, so that will help us produce more vaccines. What about the and like the reactions to the vaccine? So Sri Lanka is just giving it to everyone, like the military. Everyone in the military is getting it. What are your thoughts, guys? Like, do they have to find a better demographic to give the vaccine to, or do they stick to the normal one? Now we see that a lot of people are getting reactions. So do they have to
Yeah,
adjust?
so I think they should stop like now there's a big thing going on within the Sri Lankan doctors that don't give it to young adults between 18 to 24 years because they get like severe adverse reactions. And now there's another articles going on in the internet that this AstraTech, right? What's the name?
AstraZeneca.
Yeah, AstraZeneca is not effective after 65 years old, and it's like bad for them. So they should all consider all those things before giving it. But now I think all the vaccines might have been given already because they said within 1 week they will just finish off the first dose of all the vaccines. So I think they started last Friday, right? No, last Thursday or Friday. So by this week the vaccines will be over, the first dose. They haven't sent the rest 250,000, or have they sent like all 500,000 together?
They send 500,000 shots at once.
So we are doing it like 250.
I
Or are
don't
they
know. That's the
gonna
thing.
send
They haven't explained as to how they are doing. So now they're covering as many frontline workers and triforces as much as they can. So I don't know whether they're going to save it up. That would be the better option, but because anyway, Oxford's vaccine is like only 70% on average the efficacy.
first dose, right?
Yeah, no, both doses together. The average is 70%. If you give a half dose and a full dose, it goes up to 90 something. If not, the average is only 70%. The AstraZeneca vaccine, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, but after the second dose, it rises to 90%, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's supposed to come up to 90%, but like Dinelka said, Kana shot they found that it can be 90%.
Okay.
If you give two full doses, it came only up to 70. One half and one full, it came up to 90. So I don't know what Sri Lanka is following. So that's another issue.
But Sri Lanka is following two doses.
Two doses, but whether it's half and full, I don't know about. Not sure.
That was I don't know.
Yeah.
Half and full, I think they won't practice it yet because they said they need more efficacy trials because that was just one subgroup. That was just a one-off thing, I think. So, just a question, like right now, the only reason we need a vaccine is it's better for long term, and everyone, if it works 100%, everyone could just take it and continue with their life, and the rates will go down, right? Otherwise, I would think if the country can afford it, a thing like the full MCO we had, the full force MCO, that brought down the cases to zero, right? Because right now, if the vaccine is giving so much problems like this, and the anti-vaxxers aren't gonna be any happier about it, I think that community is growing, dude. I mean,
in Sri Lanka, I don't think there's a community like that, man.
I mean, you take the Panier group, it is anti-vax.
No, they don't. They just wanted something to like cope up with because we didn't have any vaccines in like those days. Now people want the vaccine.
Something like a quick fix, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, because people had nothing, so they wanted something. So, this honey was the answer.
They want
something. Yeah, maybe that person's honey.
Also, you're speaking in aspect of the first MCO, right? So the initial one that began, which closed all economic sectors, and then
we are talking about Sri Lanka or Malaysia?
We can use both, I guess. Easy to compare.
Because
No?
in Sri Lanka, there's no
curfews, right?
nothing. They just lifted everything off.
Yeah. But if you're taking into consideration of locking down the whole country, I guess in both aspects, in Malaysian or Sri Lankan, it's gonna definitely hurt the economic status of the country. And anyway, in Sri Lanka, I guess economy is always depreciating now. So it's gonna add fuel to the fire, I guess. So it will be a very bold and brave decision taken by the government if they do that, even if it's Malaysia or regardless if it's Sri Lanka or not. So I guess they have to consider so many parameters from many divisions everywhere, every department, and check whether how much they can sustain this to give stimuli, these packages to keep up this, to bring down the cases back to like 2 digits or like single digits. I feel like that is highly unlikely. They'll just think of it like as you just got to live with this like a like a flu disease or something. So they'll just put it as you've got to live with this. COVID is it's happening, but life has to move on. Things like that. I'm pretty sure it'll be having that. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so it's
only
true.
problem, the only problem we are not living with it as a flu is because there's more people dying to this. No?
True,
But
and
still,
also there's.
yeah.
Mhm.
But still, like I heard, dengue here is killing more people than COVID. Is that
Yeah,
still
correct.
true?
So,
Though? I don't believe that now.
I think that's according to Macha.
Undisclosed person.
allegedly,
And
allegedly,
undisclosed person who we
Allegedly.
call as
yeah,
dot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
could be
but
Bus
many,
driver,
many people.
aka bus driver.
Abang bus.
Yeah.
Abang bus,
Anyway,
yes.
as for dengue killing more people, yeah, that's right. Even when we had postings and stuff, the doctors used to say like people are scared of COVID, but they're seeing worse cases of dengue rather than COVID. But I don't think that the same holds true right now, especially because they're seeing more complicated cases of COVID. Quite recently, they released like 3 or 4 warning signs of COVID. Like, for example, off the top of my head, if your tongue is swollen and all of that, that can be used as a warning sign that you might be getting COVID. And they published a paper actually on it. But that being said, for example, here in Malacca, they say that dengue is more dangerous than COVID.
Yeah, even a certain lecturer, I'll say Dr. He's like very into epidemiology and stuff and stats. So yeah, he also said that dengue kills more. So you can take however you want, however you want.
No, but that's true. Dengue may have killed more people, but over the same period of time, when you see, I mean, I guess now it's increasing, right? Now the trend is going up. Like if there are 5,000 odd cases, at least per day, it's what, like around 10 to 16 deaths. I guess I mean it fluctuates, right? And like it's not constant, right? And you can save someone. There's a higher chance of you can save someone with dengue if you follow a proper regime, as long as it's not dengue hemorrhagic or fever, or they're in deep shock. There's a chance. But COVID, there are people who come dead also. And they're brought to the ward itself, they're dead. So I guess severity wise, obviously dengue might be more severe, but COVID is just like you will never know, right? Like it can be like such a quick escalation also. And when people who have immunocompromised, who are immunocompromised, like they're worse off. And it's very difficult to compare these two diseases because one is a pandemic and one is not. So they
And
should
also,
understand there's a.
dengue, and it has been there for a while. It has never caused a problem where it had a risk of saturating the healthcare system, while COVID, or for the few months that for almost a year, it has saturated the healthcare system of so many countries. And it might even just be that patients can actually be saved, but you don't have the resources now. Your doctors, you don't have enough doctors. So all those resources being stretched thin mean that even the patients that you can save might just end up dying uh, because we just can't treat everyone.
But bro,
So
like dengue mainly sees an increasing trend when the monsoons are there and all of that. No, this just seems to be on height year round. I
And
mean,
it's
if
Yeah,
the
also more
the
in tropical
COVID
countries,
doesn't
right?
seem to
yeah,
follow
like
any
even this
patterns.
counts as tropical and rampant with monsoons. So
no, if you compare the.
if the
I
first
mean, if
like
dengue was, yeah,
non-MCU wasn't there, I don't
if
think like
dengue
we would have
was,
stopped at 5,000.
Exactly.
and if dengue was
And
like big in the US, maybe it will get more attention. But yeah.
No,
And
again,
plus,
What
if
about
we can
what
control
about
it,
the
right?
dengue
We can
vaccine?
control the mosquitoes and all, then we can like control the root, but COVID, we can't control the root, right? Because
exactly.
we can't. So basically, that's why like even dengue has high mortality rate, like COVID is more dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to say. You can't compare a disease just based on mortality. You have to also think about the morbidity, right? So dengue, I mean, because COVID causes a greater extent of morbidity than mortality. So that also affects the severity of a
Yeah.
disease, just not
And the
mortality.
biggest problem, I think, is transmission. Like with dengue, you can at least, stop the vector from transmitting. But COVID, it's droplet and also what's this, airborne, kind of like airborne.
Apparently, it's not
Yeah.
airborne according
It's
to a
not
certain
airborne
expert.
much. Yeah. Please.
But yeah, jokes aside, I mean, if you are considering it seriously, yeah, there is airborne transmission, but they limit it a certain time period and the distance and everything. But
Yeah.
so Dinaka raised the point of the dengue vaccine. So far,
So yeah, dengue vaccine
one,
since 2018. I'm not sure.
yeah, because WHO put it on its list, but they found that the severity of dengue increased, especially in a certain age group. I can't remember it off the top of my head because the dengue vax is Dengvaxia, right? It's from Sanofi. So because of that, now they've actually restricted its use because they found that in post-marketing surveillance that when people had the vaccine and then they've never had dengue before, they get like severe dengue as a complication. So because of that, now they're just restricting it to countries where dengue is endemic. So according to the CDC, I think the countries are like New Mexico and all of that, like those states which have dengue endemic. So I'm not quite sure how it is back home. I haven't really asked because there are like 3 more vaccines, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, that are currently in clinical trials. We're waiting for approval. But the Sanofi vaccine is the one that has had FDA approval.
Anyway, dude, one of the criteria is you have had dengue before, right? Otherwise, that's the reaction you said, no? So what about people
Exactly,
who
exactly.
have had dengue and then they got the vaccine? Their efficacy is okay?
Yeah, it's actually good. That's why the CDC says you can. Wait, I'm actually Googling. So give me like 2 minutes because I remember reading it for class about a couple of days ago, but age, can't remember that.
I think the people who are at the higher risk of hemorrhage and stuff are people who've gotten dengue before, right? And they got it for the second time. Those are the people who are at like
Absolutely.
risk of
Absolutely,
hemorrhage.
yes. Ah, yeah, this is the one. Yeah. The CDC website gives you. So it says who receive the vaccine and have not been previously infected with the dengue virus may be at risk of developing severe dengue if they get dengue after being vaccinated. So, to Binura's point, that's been postulated as the reason why that is. So that's why they've limited it now. So it says in May 2019, approved by FDA for use in children 9 to 16 years. Because initially it was available for ages 9 to 45 and recommends that vaccine only be given to persons with confirmed prior dengue virus infection.
On the Wikipedia site for dengue vaccine, there is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 5. So one is Denvax, then the second one is like TV 003 005. And there's
Not,
another
not to
one by
brag, but Denvax, the Takeda one, was actually tested in Sri Lanka because they did the trials in Sri Lanka. As I was leaving the company that I was working for, they were starting the trials.
Okay, so how about why isn't there much coverage about the dengue vaccine? I feel like not many people are aware of it there.
Again, the demography which is affected, I guess. If it was the US, there'll be more funding, more marketing, and all that stuff. Whereas it affects maybe mostly the tropical countries. And we come into the idea that prevention is better, right? So in the sense, I mean, the vaccine is a form of prevention, but by to stopping water from collecting and all that stuff, they've actually kind of really reduced it. I mean, did Sri Lanka eradicate malaria? It was Sri
Most
Lanka, right?
definitely. 2016 confirmed by WHO. 2012 was the last case. There was one case in 2019 June, if I'm not mistaken, but that was brought in by a foreigner who traveled. It was Plasmodium vivax.
Exactly.
Because there's a paper that shows that they actually limited transmission, so only two people were affected: the foreigner as well as the person who had gone and visited him. Other than that, they had limited transmission.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, again, I guess there's the kind of side effects can be very severe with the vaccine. If you have already, I mean, as Umesh already stated, the criteria is very specific as well. So I guess that's why we don't hear about it a lot. I guess because like the public inspectors of health and stuff, they're putting an effort to reduce a chance of the mosquitoes breeding. I think that can reduce to a certain extent, and I don't think the dengue vaccine will be free, even if they do implement it. And countries with the tropical countries are usually poor, so it's going to be a little difficult as well. So I guess that's why dengue vaccine doesn't get much of it doesn't get out there much. All right, guys. So I want to ask about something else as well. So this is something I came across. Let me. This is kind of a wide topic, but let me. So I mean, what do you guys think about discrimination and like racism and stuff in medicine? So this is an article I came across. Right. So it just says a medical student couldn't find how symptoms look on dark skin. So he published a book about it. So what do you guys think? I mean, in Sri Lanka, it's not a bigger problem. I mean, because we don't talk about racism in medicine mostly in Sri Lanka. So what's your thought? Like, it's not only racism but even discrimination. So in medicine and how to deal with it in Sri Lanka. So we'll ask Umesh because he has had the most contact with the medical society in Sri Lanka. I want some experience, like if you guys have come across anything or what has happened and how you dealt with it, any form of discrimination at all.
I mean, personally, I have not come across discrimination. Mainly because even for my electives, I was viewed more as a student who was studying outside rather than, versus like a Tamil or a Sinhalese doctor or even a Muslim doctor. So even in that context, like, I would say I was treated equally by almost, yeah, actually all the members of like the students who were part of the electives program. Like there was no such thing as, oh, you're Tamil. So like the Sinhalese medical students wouldn't talk to me or anything like that. I still remember like during my first day in the OT, like it was just three more students, all three of them Sinhalese, and they would discuss questions and they started discussing autoclaves. So the nurse was explaining it in Sinhala. And so, as everyone here knows, I can understand Sinhala, but I obviously won't speak it because of my accent. But I would never forget this. The main group leader turned to me and just went in English, bro, if you need, just let me know and I'll translate for you. So I said, don't worry, man. I appreciate it, but I can understand. If I have any questions, I'll ask. So even after the nurse had finished explaining, he turned to me. He was like, bro, do you have any questions? Anything you want like me to say or anything like that? So there's no such issue as of racism that I saw. But then again, it's like that's the thing, right? It's a small snapshot. I don't think it's a big enough thing for me to say
Yeah, it's
that,
not
oh, there's no, yeah,
representative.
it's not representative, exactly. But at least from what my dad has told me and like most of his friends, like, I don't think racism is that prominent in the medical field. But again, it's all about being objective. So maybe his experience is different from some other doctor somewhere who experienced racism.
It also depends on like what kind of material you're using now. When we use it, like in our time, I mean, this is our time, but when so when I was doing surgery, I would use what's the textbook called, SRB, right? Yeah, and that's an Indian textbook. So a lot of the photos were of Indian patients, and they had variation of skin tones, and that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, so it's not always like whether it's fair skin or dark skin. It's just what's available and what's on the book. That doesn't limit us from looking at other sources. Like you could just Google whatever the symptom and then look at whatever photos that are available. It's also depends on like what sources are available, where this textbook or PDF is published from. So it's not. I don't think it's like clear cut. Maybe uh, so now you can't expect an Indian textbook to have maybe like maybe very fair skin tone. I mean, well, it's possible. I'm not saying that all Indians do not have very fair skin tone, but I'm just saying that maybe they didn't have a picture of that symptom at that skin tone. Okay, the skin tone that you are looking for, but that doesn't mean that this resource is racist. It just means that it, because it can't give you every single, for each symptom, here's all the here's how it looks at with every single skin tone. It just says this is one symptom, this is how it looks, and if you want to, you can go look up other examples of it. So I don't think textbooks or any other resource not having um, all the skin tones, like how symptoms look in every single skin tone, is exact example of racism.
Yeah, I guess it's
They
less of
probably
a
should have
problem
more
in our.
variety,
Yeah,
but you can't expect every single skin tone to be there.
I think it's less of a problem in our part of the world. In the US, even though they have both races, people with the extremes of skin tone, they only stick to Caucasian when they make books, right? So I guess that's a bigger problem for them, because this guy, the kid who actually made the book, he made a book on different on the darker skin tone. He got a lot of attention on it.
Yeah,
So I
and
guess
that's a
that's
good
right.
thing. I mean, that should be a good thing that this medical student that produced a textbook with all the skin tones. But if like what Vedashan said is true, that people nitpick certain skin tones, then that would be racism. Just
Yeah.
if it's
So
not available, and or like they use certain skin tones, or I mean they just use one photo and that's okay, a white skin tone. The next photo is a darker shade. That's fine. Just you can't have all the skin tones available. But using just fair skin tones throughout the entire textbook, that is not acceptable.
This is
So
going to
is
come
this
up as
so
being. Oh, sorry, Minu, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I don't know, so I was wondering, is this the book only has pics of black people, is it?
I
it's all-
think it's darker skin tones.
So isn't that racist in itself?
No, I think what the guy did was, there are already too many books of white people. I mean, pictures of white people in it. He wanted something to balance it again, right? I guess there's
So
only one
counter
form of
racism.
racism, kind of. Yeah, I guess so.
No, but I mean, this is. I mean, I may be oversimplifying things, but if you look at it from like an educational standpoint, from one, it's up to the, I mean, person who chooses the picture, right? To choose like a picture that represents like the whole color gamut that you would expect to find in that area, maybe. But maybe they think that if you have a fairer skin, it's easier because of the contrast, so you can see the sign better. Because if you notice, like especially when we like do like clinicals and things like that, they'll be like, oh, you can see a picture in your textbook, but usually in Asia, or they'll say, okay, in this area the sign might be there, but it's not as prominent because of the dark skin. So maybe it's because that they won't be able to show this sign properly if it's in a darker skin. I don't know. I obviously think I'm oversimplifying things here, but that would be a possible thing that's not racism. It's just ease, I guess.
Yeah, so even I agree with Sandhu. Sandhu made a lot of good points. One of them was which it's just availability. You can't just in a primarily Caucasian country, you can't just go finding people of other skin tones, right? Whoever's nearby with the findings, you just take a pic, done. And I'd like to, okay, this might sound wrong, but I'd like to think of lighter skin tones as like a model picture of what the clinical feature is. Especially for like a skin condition, you would really see the contrast in light skin. That's just a hot take, I think. And I also think this guy is just capitalizing on the thing white people bad. I feel like he's just bargaining too much
Yeah,
on that.
let's not go so far. I mean, I don't think we should put this guy's work down because it's
Yeah,
still
definitely.
quite interesting that he thought about it that way, and the fact that the book is there. So it is still going to be helpful for doctors, right? It's not like you're going to look at it and be like, oh, this guy thought he knew everything, so he decided. No, he actually did something to help. So I mean,
But I think
that way I wouldn't
you
think
have
of,
done it.
but
Yeah. Sorry, go
no,
on.
continue. That was the end of my.
I think like what he did was good, but he could have done it better if he also included the white, fair skin tones. But because what's his Bindra said was right. Yes, there is a lot of resources out there with fair skin tones. Yes, we agree with that. But let's have all. I mean, if he was actually dedicating this book to increase the diversity of, each symptom and how it looks on every single skin tone, might as well include the fair skin tones. There's no harm in that, right? Because this book, yes, and it's very important to know how a symptom looks on a darker skin tone, because you don't. It's not like you're gonna meet a patient with darker skin, and then you're gonna say, look, I haven't seen this symptom on a patient with dark skin, therefore I can't treat you. You can't say that. But so yes, this resource would come really handy to new doctors. But then you can't just avoid another group of patients who are fair skinned saying, well, I didn't study your work because I thought that was racist. So you can't just so nobody's going to use just this book as a reference point. They'll have to use another book as well. So what he did, yes, it improves and diversifies the resources, but he could have, like, his work is also not complete. He could have added all the skin tones and said, because that was his mission, right? It wasn't writing a textbook, it was bridging the gap. But he also made another little gap. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
maybe
So like I get the feeling like black people will be more inclined to read this book over like standard textbooks. I feel like what this does is they're like, oh no,
And
I don't
then
want to read that white man's book. Like how Dr.
I know who you're referencing. No, but
No, this thing is
I
another racial thing, Macha.
exactly,
Then
and you can't make two racial mistakes. Can't write. You can't, just because of one racial mistake, you can't make another racial mistake and say now it's fine.
yeah, that's what I feel this guy is doing. Like,
That's how
uh,
these ethnic wars, how discrimination.
Yeah,
That's
you tell them something.
everything starts. Just because one side does something wrong, let's not go and do the same thing to the opposite side. Yeah, let's just say, okay, you guys made a mistake. Now we are going to be the better people and bridge the gap.
No, bro, you shouldn't have done it in the first place. Okay.
All right, I take it all back. War.
But I mean, obviously, jokes.
Yeah.
I hope I am outnumbered here.
dude, so instead of his own textbook, couldn't he have contributed to like a new edition of a popular textbook already? Won't that be better?
Oh, it would be difficult, no?
Yeah, and
Because
I
they
guess
already have a set of authors and things, so you have to contact them and get involved. And maybe if they
I
say
mean,
no,
he could have influenced or like brought this up with other authors and said, look, this is something that we find lacking in your textbooks, and say, you should include these, and here's my resources. And I mean, but if he didn't want to do that and go on to write his own textbook, that's also fine, because this is this is something new that he's done, and he should get credit for it. But he could have taken it a step further and included all the skin tones, because then it would be it will be neutral in any sort of racial sense, right? Because this is
Yeah.
because someone's going to see that, okay, this might be a bit racist, even this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like feminists saying, I hate all men.
Exactly. So now it's the same way of okay, I didn't really hear that part, but okay, it's the same way of saying that he pointed out that all textbooks are kind of racially charged and they only have white skin tones. But he also made the same mistake.
We have been using this textbook for quite a while, Macha, like for many decades. And bring in an issue like this at this time, Macha, it's gonna bring like more divisions within the races. Yeah.
He's just basically trying to profit off of this race.
Yeah,
And
exactly. It's just
another thing I
that-
notice is, if someone doesn't acknowledge that there's some racial issue, it becomes a mistake as well, right? So this guy has taken this problem to his the head of the department or whatever, and he has been like, yeah, you noticed something good. I find his attempt is good, but he should have done it in a different. He's a 20-year-old medical student who made his own book. Rather, he should have collaborated with a better panel and made a better book, right? I'm not against the idea of trying to be representative, but rather just making a book by yourself is kind of too much. I mean, it is a problem, definitely, but I guess it's a problem. But it's a good attempt, I guess. It's a good attempt. But I feel like people, when you don't recognize, when you don't acknowledge that it's a racial issue, you become a racist. But even though you have a different point of view.
Probably he's bringing these racial things just for the attention, Macha.
Yeah, probably.
Just to get that reach.
No, it's a good attempt, I would say, but the implementation was product flawed.
The point is, like, with the the people who call out on racism, you then again start labels, right? Now you call out on people who are being racist, but then you're labeling this person as a racist. So you're also doing something that you are trying to fight against. So maybe just like understand what he's coming from and see whether is he actually being racist, and then if that is the case, then for sure call them out on that. But like, if it's not clear cut racism, and the thing is, with racism, it exists in many forms, and I don't think a decent like definition or something has been found for now, because it also exists in, as I said, in many forms. Just don't be so quick to call someone racist when they might have actually a decent argument, or maybe they're not really thinking of it as from a racial point of view.
True, bro. But if, for example, you're considering your last point, that they're not thinking about it in a racial point of view, then wouldn't it be prudent to point that out, that yeah, it might have racial connotations? Because it's like you said, yeah, I do agree. You shouldn't be quick to jump and label someone as racist, especially because you're trying to get rid of that label that, okay, this race is bad versus this race is good. Yeah, I understand and I agree. But the issue is this. I guess that stems from the person who's calling someone racist wanting to educate that person that they're doing something wrong. You understand? Because at the end of the day, you are having, if it's an individual racism, then you're having your own set of beliefs and ideas, whether through education or just your surroundings or just personal belief that one race is different from the other and hence is inferior to the other, right? Or it could be institutional, where like you have areas, for example, law and things like that have certain laws that favor other races compared to the others. But the reason I'm saying this is sometimes it's very easy for you, if you've been out of it, not to really know that you are actually being racist. So maybe that is why like this guy decided, okay, like yeah, I see that it's a lot of Caucasians. Why aren't there enough people of color involved? And if you read his website, basically he gives his vision why he decided to do it, and he says that a lot of people have done studies that show that darker colored individuals are more at risk for certain conditions, and he also names COVID as one of them. So he said he was trying to use his book to educate people that this color thing should not be there. You should have it equally. So he decided to do it himself. So I do agree with your points that if you have like racism like this, you should be quick to jump and say, "Oh, you're a racist," because other people have different ways. But it's important to know that it also could be used to point something out that you yourself might not know.
It's actually true, man. I actually I agree with you because uh, that's what you should do. Like if some okay, look, now I understand. Now we just had a conversation, right? And you brought out a point, and I understood that. Yeah, and now I'm gonna say that yes, I agree with it. If that's kind of like conversation that everyone should have, because yes, this person might not realize that it might be racist. And if you can point that out, and he then agrees that, okay, yes, might be racist, and then gives out, a decent argument why he thought that it's not and why it's happening this way, you should be able to come for some sort of consensus. Maybe, yes, okay, we didn't have enough resources, we didn't have enough uh, pictures to show but now we do. Okay, and maybe we should try and work out the next few editions of certain textbooks to include those resources. So giving someone that opportunity to right or wrong should be there before you call someone out a racist. So yeah.
I agree. True. Yeah.
I guess now maybe we can move to something less darker. No pun intended. So
Racist.
Dude,
Call
one
him out.
question.
yeah.
Just one question about the previous topic. So like, how credible is it? Is it credible enough to quote from that book saying, "Okay, I got these findings from this book"?
I think that's
Again,
another
if
thing,
he
man. It's
if he
never going to be
contributed,
enough.
But
yeah,
no, I think the findings are going to be the same, except the pictures are going to be different, right? You understand?
could he
Like,
still
I mean,
like
if
quote?
you the quoting thing again, it depends on the lecturer who you're quoting it to.
I don't think you need to quote the textbook, right? Like,
Yeah,
because this is
exactly. Because
yeah.
that's
So
right. Like, you
you
don't need to
can
quote
quote,
the clinical science.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
exactly. You
it's
can
more of
quote the
a
textbook
atlas
that you like.
again.
Yeah, it's to show. I mean, it's to help you recognize signs that would appear on a darker patient, and that is fine. That's actually great to think of it. That and this guy has actually gone the step further and published a textbook about it. Brilliant.
I mean, he could have gone two ways. He could have not made a like he couldn't have. He just should have just kept it down. Maybe done it. Maybe publish his book without much like you would publish any other book. But maybe he wanted to bring out this, that medicine there is racism in medicine thing out. Maybe he went for it and he did it in a way he did it. But it's good now that we
Yeah,
are talking about it. I guess it's fine, right? Because we know there's something out there like this. It might be
Yeah.
helpful sometime. So
Yeah.
because
it's
we're not only going to be working in Sri Lanka. We might go abroad. We might go to countries with people who have the extremes of skin tones. So I guess at the end of the day, it's good that we know about it now.
I mean, at least he brought out awareness.
yeah. Even in his
Exactly.
vision, he says it's more awareness, not rather than like the
Yeah, I
textbook.
mean, his textbook doesn't need to sell at all now that people. I mean, I'm saying it's really good if it sells, but it doesn't need to do what its intended purpose, because right now it's already done it. Because now people are thinking, hey, what about patients with darker skin? How would it look? And if that was his goal, I think he's done a good job.
I think if you're a doctor, you learn through experience anyway, right? By like inspecting a lot of patients.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
it's
think
not
this is
even
really
just
useful for them.
Exactly. It's not even just skin tones. I mean, it's how it appears also. Like you can get milder forms, you can just get like a variation that you haven't seen. And yeah, it's, I mean, skin tone's just one aspect, right? Uh, you can appear in different ways, and it's through, just as Bindra said, it's all about experience. How many of these variations have you seen, and how well you can recollect and say, okay, this I've seen, and I think this is this.
Okay, guys. So anything else you guys want to talk about, like about this? If not, I mean,
So,
no, about the topic.
What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing. This is something I came across also. So they say the Apple Watch can detect COVID-19 before symptoms arise.
Are we really going to talk about this?
no,
Bro,
bro,
but
Samsung is better, bro.
Apple Watch can detect
Oh, man.
COVID-19, yeah, but China has anal swabs now for COVID-19.
So maybe we should talk about that.
Let's not.
Yes.
So Jude,
It's
what do
right
you
up
think?
my alley.
So it's kind of like
Oh,
it's kind of like
God.
cow milk. How did the first person to do it know that that would be the result? Umi,
Hey,
what's the
which one of you
context
guys
for it?
shared it on the this thing? Because I remember one of you guys shared it, and then one of my friends back home also posted a link saying these guys just know how to get weirder and weirder.
They are just following Borat, bro.
Yeah, they're taking that way too serious.
Okay, so basically it says that they have found this, the child has tested positive for COVID, and they have taken a variety of tests, including the serum antibody, nasal, throat, and even anal swabs. And they realized that the coronavirus survives longer in the anus or excrement than those taken from upper body tracts. And for some silent carriers, the virus may be present in their throat for 3 to 5 days, and yeah, so false negative. So basically, it goes to show that the virus can be present even in your excrement for longer periods of time. So
So
I really don't know. Yeah,
can it be transmitted sexually then?
I really don't know, man. Like they haven't mentioned because I think it's like a 9-year-old boy, so I don't think you can get semen samples from a 9-year-old kid.
I'm
But
talking
also,
about
why
the
did they
anus.
decide to do? Oh my God! They do that.
It doesn't mention. It just said, okay, this guy tested positive. We'll just stick a swab in every orifice he's got.
That's what. Yeah, I mean, isn't that unethical though? I mean, you're already going to get a throat swab and like the blood
I know,
test, which
right?
should be enough.
Yeah.
But you
And
You
just
guys
go,
can
okay,
see
he
the
has
screen, right?
holes. Let me just cover them.
where did
Maybe
they
Lab
get
rat,
the
bro.
idea of a anal swab?
You can see the screen, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Anyone
he
wants to
wanted to
read
be
it?
more. Maybe they wanted to be more invasive. Get it? Invasive.
Yeah, we got you.
Wow.
You can ask Vedushan about that.
I really have no idea. This is all Binra's
Mount Lavinia,
innuendo. I don't
remember?
understand.
Mount Lavinia.
Oh wow, yeah. Now I remember. I guess Jan wasn't entirely wrong.
Just took a few months for China to catch up.
1
Stool
to 2
sample
inches,
cannot be
man.
obtained.
Holy crap! That's like what, like 5 cm, 5.5, 6 cm. Oh my God,
I think you're used to that, no, Misha.
bro, this is a family program, man. What's wrong with you?
Try and keep it as family friendly as possible.
That ship has sailed, bro. That
How
ship
about the
has
last
sailed.
segment? Tucking in a hair.
I don't think that'll
Yeah.
ever reach the light of
Yeah.
day.
It
Yes.
says previously also taking an anal swab could increase accuracy in key groups, and they are usually taken at specific quarantine locations. So I really have no idea why they did this.
Yeah, because there was another newspaper article that said that they're only going to use that to test cities that had high risk. There's a lot of transmission.
Yeah,
But if you
exactly. So,
know, just the article that Dinaka just shared, at the end, a pathologist at the Wuhan University says that throat swabs and nose swabs are still the best. So my question is, so then why even bother with something that is not as good as I don't know.
Well, I guess, okay, so first of all, I think since China was doing apparently quite well in the recovery phase, and suddenly I think 2 or 3 cities had sudden outbreaks, right? So in that case, I feel like maybe they wanted to check how and why this happened at a sudden, when it was already downhill, cases were dropping, and then suddenly there was a sudden spike. So they were wondering many avenues of how it could be transmitted. So then I guess maybe they want to check the experiment and different avenues of how it can. So maybe they just decided to stick a swab inside and check. Okay, let's see for COVID there, and you never know, right?
And the website also says that the virus survives for longer, right?
Exactly. So I think maybe that should be the reason, because China is apparently doing well after Q4 2020. So the cases are also dropping quite well. So they must have found out, hey, let's see, since cases have been going down, we have to find a way of how this could be transmitted than the usual way that they have found. So I guess at this point, there is no sky's the limit for research, I think.
Yeah, dude. So what's the basis for COVID being, what did you say, like more present in the anus?
How did it
Was
find its way to the digestive tract? Like, how did it
dude,
end up
isn't the
there?
throat easier to colonize rather than the anus?
No,
I
I
guess it
guess
just spreads, right? It spreads through your lymphatic route and also blood, either one. Because
From what?
usually if it's throat, then it should be lymphatic, right?
So there's
I mean,
viremia.
to be in the stool, it should pass through the digestive tract, right?
I guess
Yeah.
Then
sputum.
pass through the gut.
Why
So
Bola
at
then?
that point, aren't you like already? If it
I
spreads.
mean, it seems like it's too late.
So, like, are they considering COVID?
Fact.
Huh?
They're considering what, dude? Sorry?
COVID STD?
I don't think,
I mean,
no.
the thing is, it's a 9-year-old boy who's. I don't want
But no, man. Ranjit, to your point though, to be considered STD, you should have proof that it travels through sexual activity. They've just found that the virus has been found in the anal this thing, so it could come from the digestive tract also.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
could
they
it survive
should
all of that?
actually test it out, right? Whether it can be transmitted.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Probably they
from
used
what
all
I
stuff, bro.
Bola,
Once it
volunteer
passed
macam.
out, okay. Have you
Don't,
taken a
please keep Ranjula's part.
I saw this article on where they demonstrated.
Wait, how to transmit
There
COVID?
goes
Yeah,
the
sexual.
podcast for today.
Aman, I think we're not showing this to anyone, right? I mean, we're not going to show it to the Toastmasters Club, no? So it's fine, I guess.
Who
from
knows, man?
what
I might have
I've
to give
heard,
another meeting.
From what I've heard, COVID usually gets the systems of the renal, the nervous, the cardiovascular, the respiratory, so, and also the digestive, because I've seen patients, I've read cases of patients coming with diarrhea as well, and then they're suspected COVID and they have been tested positive for COVID. So I'm guessing since they have, or say since the virus colonizes, or in this case affects, or targets the digestive system as well in certain individuals, I guess maybe there could also be a possibility that why there are high levels of COVID virus particles in the excrements and the anal area.
Do you think the Chinese guys are just taking the shit like this, like
Yeah,
this?
they were taking the shit. That's why they got the anal swab. But
Yes, I mean, yeah, I forgot to.
Or it's probably they like backside.
I mean, they have said that COVID can survive in feces.
I'm really scared, man. What if China bans us?
I've heard that.
China doesn't have YouTube, right?
Wait.
I mean,
Sorry,
Already
COVID
banned, right?
survives in feces?
it says that they have been found to survive a longer duration. That's what it says.
Yeah, that's in the anal canal.
Oh,
Yeah, correct.
also, Vinaka, sorry
Oh.
to interject. Can you share the link that Ranjula just sent in the group? Just as like a disclaimer, this link is sent by Ranjula. I will have a
No,
screenshot of
listen,
it.
I never said this. I don't know if it's a STD, then Sadhu must have got it by already, right? So it can't be STD.
Jude.
Handle with whom?
You, Jude.
Hey, don't say that, Aishan. He might get triggered.
So according to this link who someone has shared in the group, anonymous person.
Ranjula Disanayaka.
Oh fuck! I'll just start again.
Sorry, doesn't this say to avoid contact with COVID patients?
So
Yeah, but split makes
sexual
sense,
partner
right?
could get the virus
Yeah.
by touching these surfaces. So
I mean,
I
Yeah,
think
bro,
more
but
than
then
sexual.
it's not
It's
sexual,
probably
right?
it's probably because like kissing and stuff, like right, like
Yeah.
through mouth,
that's
like
what they're
through
saying.
the
Droplet
saliva and
infection.
stuff.
So it's possible that you can get COVID-19 virus from sexual activities that expose you to fecal matter. So what that basically means is what it means. So you obviously know what it means.
No, bro,
So
please tell us.
it's more common in
You're the one who
homosexual.
shared this.
Right? So it's basically
Also-
common in homosexuality.
No.
Yeah. So Jude, you have to be careful regarding this one. So
Yeah,
this is
I'll take note. I'll take note. Thank
Don't
you.
cut that.
And the virus has been detected in semen and vaginal fluids of recovering. Sorry, just semen. Eh? No,
Semen or vaginal fluids.
at the end it says it has been detected by
I think
in semen of people who are recovering from the virus.
No, because
I
there's
think
no
we'll have to do
evidence that they have this thing, but the virus
no
has been
transmission.
detected. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, for
maybe
example,
it's
they detect in you, and you had sex with someone. So even if they detect the virus in your semen, but if the person you had sex with does not show symptoms, then there's no transmission.
Yeah.
How's
The
my
thing is,
example?
like,
Out of
really
10?
hard.
Mean the example, but could have done with patient X and patient Y. But why not?
Yeah, I mean it's really hard to determine, right? Whether if imagine like one person has COVID, another person doesn't, and when they engage in these kind of activities, they can't like pinpoint that it got transmitted sexually, right? Because if they do some other stuff as well.
Bro, I'm sorry, Ranjula. I've never seen you so excited for something like this. Like you're dying.
Ranjula, could you just
Probably they didn't wear mask, bro.
further just elaborate on the other stuff that they can do? Thank you.
It literally says the safest type of sexual activity during COVID-19 is masturbation. Oh my god. Basically, sex, don't engage in any real thing.
So mutual masturbation, guys. Let's go.
Jude's way.
That's with partners, bro. You are none of our partners, man. Chill.
Fecal oral transmission.
I mean, what's
So
the
eating ass, basically.
Shit.
Thank you, Vinra.
Who sent this stupid article? What the hell?
Good,
Just,
I
You know what?
Ranjula.
Dinelka, I'm going to send you a screenshot. As we did for the last podcast, when you this thing, just send that screenshot, okay?
Okay, I think for this podcast we'll have to do a director's cut, like a 3-hour edition.
Before he deletes it, I made sure to save it.
No. Whatever happens, this entire thing doesn't get posted anywhere.
Dude, this needs a director's cut like Zack Snyder movie.
This needs
No comment, simply waste. I love that sticker, bro.
So, Velishan, shall we move on to the next topic?
All right, so yeah, I just want to have a chill session with you guys. So Binder and I had a small argument about who the best T20 bowler is. So I was still stuck on Lasith Malinga, whereas Binder was like, no, he's too old. He has a Bundy. Bugger's not.
Kusal Mendis.
No, but correct.
Tirina
No?
Kandambi.
Okay, so if you guys had to make a team, okay, let's say you guys tomorrow you had to play a match. Okay, you had to make a team of 5 cricketers. Okay, you had to make 5 cricketers. It can be an old, current, whatever. Okay, but you want to make a team.
No, that's unfair. You have to choose like a timeline. I mean, you see,
No.
I can take Malinga when he was in his peak. I mean, it's not the same as he is now.
Let's say
so you can pick Malinga in 2009 World Cup or something.
Yeah, 2000. Let's say in the 2000s till now, you want to pick a player. When you automatically pick the player, he's at his peak, and you want to make a 5-a-side team.
Comes at his peak.
Yeah, arrives. Is that good enough?
Arrives means you just sound like more dignified. You're saying the same thing, but you're just like.
No, when you choose a player, you're choosing him.
Juice another. Man, juice another.
First and
lot
final.
of
Oh my
lot of
Can you
juice.
see the
Go
bus
down
coming?
juice.
Where this should go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So
so,
it's any cricketer, anytime you can just pick.
2000 in the 2000s, you want to choose a cricketer, okay? But yeah, I mean, he's at his peak. Assume he's at his peak, right? So he specifically he. So we're not making.
This is only Sri Lankans.
No, anyone, any team. All right. So the newer the better, right? But because then we'll know them. But if not, it's fine because I mean Umeshan's yesteryear players still acceptable, so that's not a problem. Okay. So I guess who wants to go
Aishan,
first?
we'll start with Aishan.
Aishan, okay. Five, okay.
Okay.
So you can have one wicket keeper. It's optional.
So 6.
One of the players in the 5 can be a wicketkeeper batsman,
Okay.
but if you don't want, it's fine.
So this is what's the format, by the way? It's just like a
Just like
limited
random
overs or
order.
test?
Or...
Random
Test.
order, whatever you want.
Just give 2 batsmen, 2 bowlers, and 1 wicket.
Yeah, 1 wicket keeper. Yeah.
That should
And
be
if you
good.
don't want a wicket keeper, still it's fine because we're doing the fun of it. Let's say
2 best. Yeah.
T20. T20 format, take it, yeah. T20 format.
Yeah, but you still need
Got
11
it.
people for T20.
Shall we
Right?
limit it to Sri Lanka then? I
Shall we
feel
just make it 11 like a
You can see Velishan's face, instant regret.
you might
11
run
players,
out of
Bang. It's going to be too, it's going to take a while. It's
Yeah.
5
Just
please.
pick
Right,
5, bro.
right, 5.
Come on. Just
Okay,
5.
2 best.
I'm already done
Okay.
with 5.
Yeah, if you guys want time, take some time to write it down if you want.
Chaminda Vas. Muttaya Muralidharan. Bowling. Batting. Kaluwitarna. Arjuna. I think Kalu wicket keeping it karna. I think, yeah. Sankara.
So are we making a full Sri Lankan team?
Yeah,
Any
full
team,
Sri
no?
Lankan, but only 5 players.
You want
Only
all
Sri
Sri
Lankan.
Lankans?
Yeah.
Only Sri Lankan?
Only Sri Lankans, yeah.
I just said Sri. Yeah.
Has Was played T20s?
Yeah, he played.
Yeah,
he,
he even played for Deccan Chargers for IPL, right?
Oh,
So he's done that also.
so I'm gonna leech off a few from Aishan. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Chaminda Was and Lasit Malinga when he was in his prime, minus the Bundy. Sanat Jayasuriya, and TM Dilshan, and we could keep with Sangakkara.
Not bad, huh?
Oh,
Maybe we
also
don't need
Jayasuriya during, was it 2008 World Cup?
2007.
2007 or like the 1996.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because he said whoever you pick comes at their prime.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
Whoever you pick comes at their prime. Yeah, I said it.
Thank you, Vajay.
Yeah,
So my top 5. Minugo.
Alright, so I would pick the openers would be Jayasuriya and Divishan. Okay, 1 down would be Sangakkara. And how much is that? 3, right? So only 2 more people, right?
Yeah.
So Murali and Vas.
තාම මාලික් ගත්ත නෑ.
Oh wait. Okay. Malinga and Murali.
Okay. I'm glad
I
at
forgot
least,
about Malinga.
So I'll go with Sangha, Muttaya, Angelo, Nuwan Kulasekara, and Akila.
Akila Dhananjaya?
Yeah.
Suspect action, Macha.
That was good. I've seen him bowl. I just liked it.
Wait, could you repeat your lineup again? Who were the batsmen in this?
Batsmen are Angelo and Sangha.
Okay. Wicket keeping? Oh, you're not
Sangha
going
is
to
also wicket keeping, right?
okay. So no dedicated wicket keeper. Okay, fine.
No.
So you have like a really good bowling lineup, ne?
Yep.
Yeah. 1 spinner, 2 fast bowlers.
So guys, this is it's a T20
fast
team,
bowlers.
so
That's fine. I mean, you can change
Yeah,
up
any side is fine. Any, I mean, a
all
test.
batsmen, that's fine with like one bowler.
So
Next is with international, okay?
Yeah,
Ooh.
next week.
I don't know much. I don't know the new guys though.
No,
I
it's
don't
fine.
either.
It's fine.
I've stopped watching
It's
cricket
fine.
from like 2017, bro. I get depression every time.
I don't,
I don't watch Sri Lankan cricket for sure.
I don't.
Oh, you're a little coconut. No, Machan. You live in Sri Lanka but watch every other team.
No,
Nah,
man.
I didn't
Sri
watch
Lankan
cricket.
cricket. Sri Lankan cricket is just sad.
Yeah.
I
mean,
watch
I
every
should be
time.
judging. I don't even watch the game, so.
They give you hope, and they let you down.
And
It's
then
like
crush it.
a certain university,
Yeah.
they give you
Mukund.
hope, and
Like
Yeah.
the current, yeah.
Sounds
Like the
quite-
recent series, like the first match we fucked up the first innings, second
Yeah.
match we fucked up the second innings. It's like
yeah, exactly. One innings like Tirimana goes nuts, 100. Okay, Kusal Mendes 50. We lose by 36 runs. Like we are never gonna. I mean, it's like we will never win. Just sad. Next match, Angelo 100. Angelo Matthews 100. Next third innings, 135 runs all out.
Maybe they're tired from the first inning.
Yeah,
Maybe.
now Namal Rajapaksa is like they're gonna get paid on their ability, or rather how they play.
Oh,
If
I
they
thought
don't play-
Namal was gonna go come and play cricket for us.
Can you not? I don't want to die.
Oh shit. Sorry. Please continue.
Umeshan's 5.
Nations team, okay.
Umeshan.
Bro, I stopped watching cricket ages ago, so
Even
my
live
five is...
After the 96 World Cup.
So
Umeshan was
my
playing
five
cricket
is Sanat Jayasuriya, Mahela Jayawarthne and Kumar Sangakkara, Muttaya and Chamundavas.
Top notch
So the
team.
guys, those are the guys I remember watching.
Those are really good guys.
I stopped at the peak, bro. You know,
Mm.
after when they started going down, bad.
Dr. Range.
So I'll go with. I mean, some of the players haven't played T20 because they are a bit old, but
Alan.
in their peak, probably Arjun Ranatunga, Sitat Vettamuni, Tilna Kadanambi, and the new players, Chandimal. And the other one is still yet to come. He will be like in the major leagues in the coming up years. He's a player called Samu Ashan. So all 5 players has one thing in common, I think.
Or from Anand.
Maybe.
Yeah.
From Anand.
I agree with everyone except Chandimal.
Yeah.
I know Chandimal. He takes 50
You guys know
innings to
about
get
Samu
into
Ashan?
form.
I've
You guys
heard of
know
him. Huh? I've
Samu
heard of
Ashan?
him. He hasn't started, right? He hasn't debuted yet, right?
He's yet to come. He's like really good apparently. He's like a big striker.
Okay. But Chandimal in T20, he's got like an average of 15 and strike rate of 80. Okay.
No, in Chandimal, in the peak, he was really good. Man. When he came, he was like really good. He did like 450s in a row.
I think he was always
I remember the 100. Yeah?
Was he
scored his 100 in Lords, remember? Like Matthews held up one end and he scored he just went.
I know, he captained the 2014 Sri Lanka T20 team, but Lasith Malinga captained the final and they gave the trophy to Lasith Malinga.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because of his injury, right?
No, he didn't play well. Huh? He was like Mara out again.
They just used it as an excuse and kicked him. He was a captain of the team, man. So they
I mean, Chandimal in the peak, not now. So that's my thing.
Okay. Favi's Maharoof and Dilhara Fernando.
And a no
ball. For batting. Oh, can I pick another bowler? Ajanta Mendes. For batting.
Mystery ball.
Betting
Betting, bro. Batting, I guess, Tilakaratne Dilshan and Mahela Jayawarthne.
Wait, could you explain why you picked the bowlers though?
I think it's nostalgia. I just like those names.
I think both of them.
Each time I see those highest vans with the high roof, I think Maharoof.
Both of them didn't live up to their potential, like Ajanta Mendes and Maharoof. They like started off very well, but then they tailed off at the end.
Ajanta Mendes was like, he has the best figures in T20 cricket. Yeah.
Are you checking him out?
Bro, I'm
Nice
talking
aspect.
about his bowling average and wickets and whatnot. And when I think it was a Bleacher Report, there's a sports website, they did a unbiased rating of cricketers based on their performance. So what they do is they take your average, wickets, all that, and blindly they don't know whose average it is, and they put it in order. And actually, Ajanta Mende had the best average, like on average meaning points for a player in T20. It was 2014 or something. But now he hasn't played, so you can't include him in the argument anymore. But he used to be really good. So I guess
Okay,
my
then.
team.
Without Maharoof, I'll just go with Murali. Can't go wrong. No?
You can never
So
go wrong
all
with
in
Murali.
their peak. Who Dilhara was good in his peak, right? Fast bowler.
He was okay actually. He had like
Plateau.
high.
Was, bro.
Pura plateau atibbe macha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pura plateau atibbe.
But
But
if
like
you
no one was built like him though. Like he was built like a
Yeah.
a fast bowler.
tall,
Him
he
and
was
Nuwan
tall, no?
Zoisa, Nuwan Zoisa and Maharu, like not Maharu, Dilar Fernando were like very similar.
But
Like
2 days ago,
Nuwan
he
Zoisa
got
was good.
Dilhara got caught for
No,
match
no, no,
fixing.
not a different guy. Not Dilar Fernando.
Lokuetige, right?
Different.
Yeah, Loku Hettige. Dilhar Loku.
Oh, that's a different guy. Oh.
So you want to
Yeah.
change your team to Dillar Local Hetige, match fix your way to the finals.
I don't know who that guy is.
Hello, yeah,
He
he
He's a
in the
played
royalist.
like
current team?
No,
Nabang,
he's
he
an old
was
guy. He's a
old.
royalist.
I
Oh,
just
Just a disclaimer.
Rambuk Valley is also really good, man. I mean, his cricketing.
Wait.
No, actually, the cricketing carry is really good. He's like a really good striker.
But who Mar
Yeah. But he can't open
We don't need to
airplane
talk about that,
doors.
but he's a good cricketer.
Yeah, he put a pilot. He tried to become the pilot.
We should not talk about this stuff.
Okay, yeah. So my team will be Sanath and Sangha opening, Tisere Pereira, Ajanta Mendes, and Malinga.
So Sanath, after the never mind, nothing.
Yeah,
After
So
his final innings.
you didn't pick a Tamil bowler. You made a big fuss
Yeah.
that Binura picked, but you of course don't pick a Tamil bowler.
the
He's from your state, also. I know you're only
Bro,
30 minutes away from Kandy, but
T20, bro, Murali wasn't that great. So when I said
Bro, Murali is Murali, bro.
Bro, he was
Mendes
not
is
at
better T20.
peak, macha. Egale.
Yeah, he was out of his prime.
No, when T20 started, started getting thrashed.
Yeah. Egale would have wasn't
Pretty
taken.
well in
Yeah, retire Latik.
Yeah.
Indian Premier League, right? He did quite well.
No, IPL
Chennai
also.
Super Kings.
I know there's a
No, IPL he was bad. He
yeah,
was bad.
he
in
wasn't that great. Yeah, and they say that Murali, even though I mean Murali is great, I'm no argument there, but there's a thing that Murali got a lot of wickets of tail-enders. He has 800 wickets, but they say okay he got wickets of tail-enders. Whereas Shane Warne usually bowls in the first few overs, like in a test matches, he starts. Sometimes even starts spells, Shane Warne. So Shane Warne
Yeah, that's
got,
because macha, fast bowlers used to take the first wickets. So whatever is left, macha,
Warne's
are
also-
all taken in. So the spinners get.
No, Shane
Yeah.
Warne's also.
yeah, Shane Warne. Yeah, the thing is, they say that Shane Warne was like, even you knew Shane Warne was gonna bowl what he was gonna bowl. Still, you couldn't pick him.
Yeah, I feel like I might get a lot of hate for this, but I feel like Shane Warne's achievements are like a bit better than Murali's because considering the conditions in Australia, one thing, right? Like, and also he had like a generic like an action. So
Yeah,
he wasn't like
I think
gifted. He wasn't gifted or anything, by birth.
Yeah, but Shane Warne had one advantage. His team was crazy good. Like
yeah, that's
if
another
he-
disadvantage. That's another disadvantage for him taking wickets because Murali used to take like the bulk of the wickets, right? Whereas in Australia it's shared, so like he gets like
they have Kodra and all of them, right? Just coming in front.
exactly.
Yeah, there's Jason Gillespie bowling from one side. There's Brett Lee, and for him to come and take wickets, it was just crazy. Murali takes 9 wickets in an innings like it's nothing.
I
Like
miss
in
Brett
England,
Lee,
it was
bro.
9.
Him and his, turning the trishaw on action.
But Murali is just great. You can't deny it. Whether he took tail-enders or not.
I think they're both pretty great.
Yeah, but leg spinner. Australians hate Murali, man. Gilchrist to this day accuses Murali of having an illegal action.
He's the same guy who put some glove or something in his pad and did some
Scotch
shit,
ball.
right?
Scotch ball.
He explains it
Pot-
like it's
pot calling the kettle black.
yeah. But thing is, it wasn't illegal. It still isn't to use a Scotch ball. You can just keep it. So apparently, to increase the power of his bottom hand, he used it, and he points to it also during the match. අපේ කප් එක බං හොරගම් කරා.
So if it does actually increase the power of the bottom hand, that gives you an unfair advantage, right?
No, in the sense,
either you get everyone to use it or you don't get anyone to use it.
Yeah, but the rules per se don't. The rules per se don't disallow it. There's no specific rule that disallows it.
The rules have just yet to catch up.
He didn't do
Yeah,
that
I
himself.
don't think.
But still, there's no rule against it.
Because he's the only one who used it now.
Exactly, it's difficult to back with it, ba.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how there's an advantage though. Honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be a disadvantage.
Exactly.
To be honest,
but what happens is he keeps it between his at the base of his thumb and the glove.
He showed it after he got the century.
Yeah, he just points at his thumb. What happens is his coach at Perth, I think he's from Perth, so I told him to use that to put more power into his bottom hand. So he's a left-hand batsman, so his bottom hand is going to be his left hand, right? So by putting this on the right hand, he put more power into his left hand, so he could play the drives more easily, and there was more power behind his drives. So it was a training trick which he took to the field. So I guess, I don't know. Even I think it's kind of unfair, but we can't discuss it because.
But that's not the reason why we lost, right?
Yeah, that's not the reason.
But 150 runs or something, right?
Oh, yeah, true. But I mean, the Australian team, those days, I mean, it was kind of unbeatable. I mean, I don't think they lost the entire tournament, like one game in the entire tournament.
But the whole team did not perform that well, right? I think Matthew.
No, they had like a huge partnership, right? Opening partnership. They scored like 218, like 38 or something.
No, we batted first, no?
No, we were chasing.
No,
they batted first.
We just chased them. Yeah.
I mean, we had a good partnership. I can remember Sangha and Jayasuriya were going well, but then Sangha. Yeah, it was dark also. They didn't have lights. It was dark.
Yeah.
And we had some boats coming as well.
Huh?
Wait, it was the one we got bombed, right?
No. Yeah, that happened in Sri Lanka.
That's another side mission by.
I don't know, bang. I was sleeping.
Yeah, you set the motion and you slept.
Power cut, boss.
He deployed his entire air force on that day. The whole
we don't have air force.
Two aircraft.
My air force is called Sri Lankan Air Force.
Yeah, that one.
That's what you named him, Macha.
Huh? No, that's the different Air Force Aisha is referring to.
Okay, moving back onto the topic.
Yeah, okay. Go.
Okay, I'll pick De Villiers and Kohli, okay? And one down would be Steve Smith. Bowlers would be Marling and Stark. Yeah. So De Villiers is the keeper, right?
Boss, no spin, nah?
No, bro, no need spin. Those two fast balls more than enough.
So yeah, I guess I'll go next. So my team is mostly Sri Lankans, but it's again going to be Sanath opening, Sangha and Sanath opening, Jack Callis as one down, Rashid Khan and Lasith Malinga.
My one would be Brendan McCullum, Shane Watson, then Shakib Al Hassan, Team Southie, and either Faf du Plessis or Deerstein. One of those.
So just one bowler?
Yeah, either one of those two.
Okay, so I'll go with Virat Kohli and Tendulkar and Sangha for batting. And Virat Kohli is also bowling, and Murali and Brett Leaf bowling.
I have no one, bro. I don't watch cricket so well. So I have no one.
We give a free pass. Sandul.
Yeah, I don't know any of the new ones, but Glenn Maxwell, I think he was pretty good. Mitchell Stark as a bowler. MS Dhoni as the wicketkeeper. So I need one more bowler and one more batsman.
Lara.
Lara played test matches, ne? I
Yeah.
don't think.
Fucking legend though.
Yeah.
Chris Gayle.
Chris Gayle as a batsman, and I need a bowler. Who else do we have? Yeah, Lasith Malinga. I think he was pretty good.
Or take that guy from Bermuda. that thing
I
is,
get a fielder for sure.
I know that will never get forgotten, bang. That guy's catch at 2007 Cricket World Cup is like, no one can explain it. It defied everything.
No, but I think he did a really good job holding on to that.
Okay. Brian Lara. Is it Kieran Pollard? That's his first name?
Yeah.
Okay. Sachin Tendulkar. And for bowlers again, Murali. And I keep forgetting this one guy. Let me just Google.
What's the nationality?
I think Australia or South Africa. I can't remember.
Bowler.
Yeah, bowler. Fast bowler.
Stein, Bretley.
McGrath.
Sean
Mhm.
Tate.
Side bottom.
I mean, English players have the worst names. They have side bottom, they have broad, they have onion.
That's the only name I remember. Like I watched like a match recently, and that's the
Side
only
bottom.
name that stood at side bottom. And I
There's a guy
just
called there's a guy called Wood.
Yeah, Mark Wood.
Why are you guys so disgusting? What
Bro,
are your
ask his
mind thinking of?
parents. Ask his parents why they are.
Why Dickok?
That's like, oops.
There's Kevin O'Brien, right? He's from Ireland, right?
You want him
No,
in your
it's not.
side?
He did play.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
I know
from
this
Ireland,
guy.
right? Kevin O'Brien.
Kevin
Yeah,
was
he's
like,
not.
so is
Sean Pollock.
he's South Africa.
He's South African. Yeah.
South
He's
Africa.
pretty good. He's pretty good.
So that's my one.
Yeah.
I think Chris Gayle, AB de Villiers, Graham Smith, Washim Akram, Dale Singh.
No
Does
war.
anyone have any like weird question segment? It doesn't have to be like really.
I don't have
Well,
weird
no.
question segment. I just want to ask Aishan, why is his background a plate of blood dagger?
Vedu can explain this blood, bro.
Blood dagger, I have no idea, man. I forgot micro.
Not blood dagger, blood, bro.
Blood, let me guess. It's a body fluid.
He wants you to go towards war.
Vena, bro. Vena.
Okay, so what are you guys doing for dinner?
So what about this thing? We'll talk about
For dinner.
that later. What about the upcoming movie? Is Kong or Godzilla?
I think Kong is
Definitely
gonna
Godzilla.
Oh, that's
Kong,
a
Kong,
nice
Kong.
topic.
I don't know Kong.
Godzilla
They're
literally has a
portraying Godzilla
nuclear
as a bad.
reactor.
I mean, Godzilla saved the world twice, right?
What?
Godzilla saved the world twice, right? In the previous.
Yeah. Kong
Kong is a big
Kong
simp.
was
That's
like
a
island chilling.
Kong is a
So why do
simp.
you support Kong?
No, Kong
No,
gets
Kong is a
his-
simian. Kong is a simian, not a
he's
simp.
dude.
Get it right.
It's a simp, bro. He simps.
No, Kong gets his like a big sword, right?
It's an axe.
Axe
No,
or
it doesn't
whatever.
matter, but why I supported the new one? Godzilla saved the world twice in the same universe.
Yeah.
I know.
was it
Kong did
Kong-
nothing, Macha.
Kong climbed up
This
the
guy in
Empire
the
State
bushes.
Building, bang.
Kong is a pedophile.
Hey, is there? I mean, it's the same Kong, right?
No, but
No, it's
it's
oversized.
a different universe.
The
This
Skull
universe,
Island. Skull Island is the same universe, yeah.
the previous one we watched, like Godzilla beats his all other monsters, Moth and other The other ones, I
I
Ghidorah.
can't
remember.
remember that one.
Rodan,
11.
Rodan and Ghidorah. Mothra was part of his
Yeah,
team.
yeah. So Godzilla actually saves the world, and now they are bringing Kong to kill Godzilla.
That's
Doesn't
not
make
fair,
sense.
Macha. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You
And
do realize that
Fuck
Kong was
Kong.
in the island chilling, bang, and
That
Godzilla
this
was saving
is
the world.
this is
Oh, I didn't
Batman
know
versus
that.
Superman.
Exactly. Same thing. I'm just
Mecha
gonna-
Godzilla is going to be Doomsday. And instead of Martha being the same name of their mothers, they're going to find something else in common.
They had the
Same
same
How
grandfather.
how did Mechagodzilla come
They
into
both have
existence?
pieces.
Jude, can you please, if you don't have anything important to say, don't say it. But jokes aside, no, yeah, at the end of Godzilla, King of Monsters, like they show Tywin Lannister. I don't know, Charles Daly, either. He buys Ghidorah's head from this thing on a fisherman, right? So I think they might like use the Ghidorah's like brain and things, link it to like a metallic thing. Because
Dude,
the initial thing in the
how
trailer,
the
you
hell
can
can they
see
make
like
such a
it's
big
red.
one?
Bro, it's technology.
So one EMP would just knock it off, right?
Bro, don't question it. If you want to question it, you go live in that movie universe.
Team Godzilla.
Kong,
But
no,
supposedly they're going to frame like Godzilla and then they're going to try use Kong against Godzilla. Godzilla is going to kick Kong's ass and then Kong is going to go on a journey to find himself, become a Shaolin monk,
And a
find an axe, come
Dude,
back.
so I mean, Kong is uh, a primate, right? So won't he have like a piece dangling around him all the time while he's fighting?
Have you seen Godzilla? Not Godzillas, gorillas.
have you seen
Have you seen
Harambe?
gorillas in the zoo? Do they have their penises dangling?
No, but I mean, this is a huge like when it's like you put it in a word and then you just drag it till infinity.
I think it's like,
Obviously, his penis should be visible, right?
I mean,
And he must take
why are we having
massive
this
dumps, right?
conversation? Like, I don't know. Why are we talking about
where does
penis?
King Kong poop? Where does
You
King Kong
said penis, not
He-
Under the
asshole.
sea. I mean, no, Godzilla.
he
King
poops
Kong.
under the sea?
No, King Kong was freely pooping in his jungle, but now they brought him to the city. We'll see where he poops.
He's going to
He's been
train
living
Commode,
in
Western
for a
Commode.
while.
Are they both males?
Yeah.
I thought Godzilla was this thing, like,
Oh yeah,
in
famous.
the earlier movies, like, he can
Transsexual.
carry eggs, right? Yeah, transsexual. Like, he carries eggs. But I think they retconned it.
Godzilla is transsexual.
Hermaphrodite.
Biden movies, you know.
Hermaphrodite.
Biden. Godzilla is a feminist.
So,
Oh
Ranjula,
my
who do you think
God.
will win? Godzilla? Because he saved the world twice.
No, I think Kong is gonna win. Godzilla might be the good guy.
No, there are like so much memes, man. There's one single meme like Godzilla island එකට වෙලා chill එකේ අල සම්මතම් නෑ sorry, not Godzilla. Kong island එකේ අල සම්මතම් වෙද්දී Godzilla අපේ world එක බේරගත්තා. ඇයි ඌට support කරන්නේ නැති? And there's one where that Godzilla, there's this beam of light, right? Some electrical light.
Nuclear, right?
We have Lotus Tower in the side of the picture, which is so funny.
He has a nuclear ray gun built into him. Kong has nothing.
The Kong has
Just big balls, bro.
big jets.
Hey, Kong used tools in his environment to give that ancient skull crawler a tonsillectomy. That is surgical precision.
So, who do you think who will win? Godzilla or Kong? Binra?
Humans.
I say Godzilla.
Why?
Because it's cool, bro. Like the Japanese guy says, Godzilla. Godzilla.
Gojira.
Gojira! That's why it's called Titanus Gojira, man. I love it.
Okay. So, Vedushan, who do you think will win?
Obviously Kong, man. Otherwise the movie won't be interesting.
Why?
Why? Because number one,
Vedu is the same.
They're
Kong is the same.
portraying-
Okay, that's it.
Kong is the same. No, I mean,
Kong is just
I mean,
fucking in heat, man. He
No.
he literally can't have sex with
no,
anything, right? He's probably
I
fucking like a
guess-
hole in the beach at the island.
Yeah, he's a liberal. He's a liberal.
Yeah, Kong.
Okay,
No,
Kong
I
voted
feel
for
like
Biden.
no, it's a David Goliath thing, right? You want David to win, so the underdog will always win. That's how movies are
But
made.
both of
Bro, it's
why do
actually
you think
Godzilla
that,
versus Kong, not David versus Goliath. But
I'm
okay,
used
I
to
understand.
bro
yeah, bro,
comparison.
they
So
don't have
you
names.
want to see the small guy win. So obviously, then only
Like
the
Dustin
people.
Kong
Poirier.
is the same size as Godzilla in the
Mandul
movie.
Pinos makes
What
a
isn't the
surprise
Kong like
entrance.
half the size of Godzilla?
No, you watch the trailer. Like that's what
Kong
they
has got
even.
bigger one now?
Yeah, because in Skull Island, like even the guy says, right, he's still growing.
Kong has a
Yeah.
disadvantage because of the terrain. They're usually fighting at sea. So that's a
But Kong
problem.
can swim.
Huh?
He can swim.
But
Even
Godzilla can
Godzilla
drag
can.
him to the bottom. Godzilla can drag him to the bottom of the sea and just suffocate him.
Yeah, true. So you
But
think still Kong will win?
yeah, it'll be very like an unlikely match. Like everyone's gonna think Godzilla's gonna win, but somehow Kong is gonna just use some trick or something and just kill Godzilla. Not kill, maybe like maybe they become friends. I don't know, but Kong will win.
Pass chilling
But
game.
Kong died once, bro. Don't you think he's gonna die again?
Huh?
Have you guys seen that old Godzilla versus Kong where
Oh,
Kong
yeah.
Kong
The
takes
tree,
a
right?
tree and just like basically deep throats it in Godzilla, man. It's fucking hilarious.
So Jude, who do you think will win?
I don't know. I'm more in favor of Godzilla because what is a what is a king to a god, right?
Yeah, so in
Oh,
that thing, bro, you have to pick Kong because Kong is a god for
Kong
the
is God.
people in Sky, and King is
But
Godzilla in this analogy. You do.
I feel like Godzilla is far more superior.
Okay, Sandhu?
I mean, I'd support Godzilla, but I feel like in the movie, Kong might win.
I don't know, pick one side.
So
You pick Godzilla.
who I think would win is probably Kong.
Okay. Dinaka? Nice. Okay, Aisha,
bruh.
no. So Umesh is still thinking with the calculations.
Dude,
No, bro,
Godzilla,
I picked the winning team.
like
So
Kong could be coming from a mile away. Godzilla can just snipe his fucking brain out with the like a
no,
ray gun.
but Kong gets this sword, right, which can absorb the beam of Godzilla.
Yeah,
Oh, that's all.
because that scale is from Godzilla.
So
How
It's
the
he
fuck
actual
did he
scale
get a
from
sword that big?
because dude, like that's the thing, man. Like at the end of Skull Island and even this thing King of Monsters, they are shown cave paintings. So basically, they're using the fact that these guys have fought before, not the same people, this thing, but the species have fought before. So like, there's one theory that Kong might go into the Hollow Earth, and then he finds this thing, or he might rip a scale out during the first battle they have in the sea, and use that to fashion a weapon. Because that's what Kong is like, primates, right? Like the tool building ability is what makes them better. Whereas Godzilla is actually like stronger, and if you watch him fight with Ghidorah and things, it's very different. I've been watching a
Dude,
lot of
like,
videos, man. Of them.
so do
So
you
free.
think Kong could win against Ghidorah?
Hell no. Because why do you think Godzilla won against Ghidorah?
He got
Besides the
charged
fact that
with the
he's a
electricity, right?
protagonist. No, he got charged with radioactivity because of that guy's
Yeah.
dying
While
thing.
Kong would have had radiation poisoning and
Yeah.
died a
But
slow
no, I
death.
think most of the Titans, what they want us to think is the Titans feed off the radiation. That's what makes them evolve. But Godzilla is like so much better at evolving. Because if you watch from the first movie, Godzilla, to this one, you see that he's gotten better. Like he didn't have an atomic breath. His atomic breath in the first one was gray, and now it's blue.
Blue, yeah.
He got a color upgrade also.
He's a nice thick boy, you know.
Yeah, man. He's got that muscle, all that like flesh.
Sound like
But Kong also a nice ass, I think.
My God, Umesh and
Okay.
Judah switch places.
I gotta play this video. It's so funny.
Okay.
this is the one Umesh said, right?
It looks like a slide. Oh yeah, that's it. Take it. Take it. Take it.
Oh
Oh my
shit.
god. What? Yeah, so what about all the human casualties? If the humans are trying to instigate?
They don't care, right? Because the guys
It's
who
a
are trying
movie,
to
man.
instigate are Apex or Monarch, one of the two.
Dude, like I saw part of the trailer, they're just wiping out a whole harbor.
Evacuated
They're
already.
worse than the Avengers, man.
Nothing Japan didn't do during Pearl
No,
Harbor.
if it's not DC, they don't care about collateral.
Yeah.
DC is the
Even
only universe.
DC technically didn't care about collateral, right?
I mean,
Man of
Batman.
Steel,
Yeah.
the guy just destroyed.
They had those weird
Batman.
vines growing all over the earth.
No, they made it a point that to use it to something that motivates Batman to go against Superman. The collateral. That was the whole reason Batman hated Superman. He was the entire his Wayne Enterprises. The entire building gets crushed, and the guy, what's his name? Zod, no?
Yes, General Zod.
Yeah, Zod wouldn't have never come to Earth if it was not for Superman. So that's why he's pissed at Superman. It's like Superman brought all the destruction to Earth.
So if we were all supposed to be born as mutants, okay, which power, I guess you could say power ability would you guys select? But you can only choose one because as gifted we are. So you could say which gift would you acquire if you had the ability to choose which one?
Facing. Like, I could just become. Have you guys watched Demon? No, you don't have watched Demon Slayer. Not Demon Slayer. My Hero Academia. You guys haven't watched.
Yeah.
It's like I can. Is there any superhero like that? You know, Ghost Freak from Ben 10?
You mean like Kitty Pryde from the X-Men, who's an actual mutant who has the same ability?
Yeah, but I have. Did she come in any of the movies?
Yeah.
I haven't.
She came in the first trilogy and even like the.
Yeah, so facing in the sense I can let anything pass through me and I can just walk through anything.
So Vision is Kitty Pryde. Nice.
Imagine.
I would be Legion. You guys know who Legion is, right? I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Explain.
So Legion was Charles Xavier's son. So they have like a FX series. So basically, he's actually one of the strongest mutants there is, but his power comes with a weakness. He can have any power in the mutant universe, but it's linked to a personality. So he has split personality disorder. So every time he manifests a personality, he gets powers, and he has like 1,000. That's why he's called Legion. But he's crazy, man. Like he's a psychotic freak. So that's why I want to be him.
I want to be Flash, bro. Speed.
So Quicksilver.
No, Quicksilver's slower, right? Because if I'm
No,
Flash,
but
basically I can time travel.
he wants you to give like a mutant ability, right? Because he said.
Oh, just like super speed in terms of Flash levels. I want so that allows me to time travel too, and I can everything up.
Yeah, and you'll everything else is also
Dinelka point.
Yeah, thanks guys for watching our podcast. So please like this video, subscribe, and also share it among your friends. And we have more podcasts, so you can watch them also. Thank you guys. Bye.
See you.